Yo, what's checking, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Orangebloods at Night. I'm Geoff Ketchum, sans Anwar Richardson, who is, if I'm not mistaken, like doing a little bit of another week of vacation on the back heels of this week. Glad to have you. Come on into the chat room. We are going to be talking about Reuben Owens. We're going to be talking about Jonte Cook and the visits to Texas this weekend for another round of official visits. We'll be talking about Texas football recruiting in general, and anything that you guys want to talk about for like the next 30 minutes or so. Like I said, hop into the chat session, get your questions in. We'll talk a little bit about everything that you guys might have your mind on a Wednesday night in the middle of the summer. Like the channel, subscribe to the channel. We went over 12,000 subscribers earlier this week. Now we begin our quest to 13,000. Do that if you haven't already done so. And, you know, that's kind of that. Let's get the show let's get this show on the road. You know, Anwar and I did a video just the other day about, and what's up, Matthew? First comment into the comment section. First, we did a video just a couple of days ago talking about Reuben Owens and his commitment to Louisville and what it means. And we did get a little philosophical on that. So if you want to get 30 minutes on Reuben Owens, by all means, just go to the to the archives here on the Orangebloods Texas Football Channel, and it's there. And we talked a lot about it. You know, I've had more time to think about it, and my first thought tonight about the Reuben Owens situation and his commitment to Louisville is that the running back position is just where this stuff happens. You know, there's been a tendency, a lot of people on Orangebloods have wanted to draw the parallels to Zach Evans and what happened. Christopher making me laugh on a Wednesday night. By the way, thanks, Stephen. Appreciate it. Glad that you love the show. It's not just Zach Evans. The running back position in general, whether it begins with Eric Dickerson or a Marcus Dupree back in the day, you know, fast forward to some of the, I think about who was the kid that went to Baylor? Gerard Douglas from Converse Judson, when he wanted to go to Texas, but his mom wouldn't sign the letter of intent. And so that went beyond signing day. And then he ends up signing with Baylor. It's always the running back. It's always the running back. And so here we are. You know, the next one is, you know, Lake Seastrunk is probably the one that stands out the most for me, because it felt like crazy shit went on with Lake Seastrunk all the time. And that does feel it does feel like we've reached a little bit of crazy town with Reuben Owens. Man, I'll just say, you know, we all want, my interpretation of that situation based on the things that I've heard is it is just absolutely in the it's complicated standpoint of recruiting. You know, recruitments should be about young man's got a lot of talent. Does he have a dream? Where does he want to go to school? What does he want to do with the rest of his life? Where does he want to go play football? Let him find the best place possible, and then like go fulfill your dream, go do your thing. And if you're a guy like Reuben Owens Jr., like maybe that means go make some money. By the way, Brandon Offerman hitting us with the super chat right out of the way. Brandon, I'll get to that in a second. I look at the Reuben Owens situation and what it should be about. And you can include that with wishy-washiness or whatever you want to. You've got a situation where a young kid, this is no longer about an offense where he wants to go to school. Kind of the regular stuff. I feel like based on what we're hearing, you know, there's NIL, there's all of that stuff. And It's complicated. It's not as simple as, and even with Texas, I think Texas, the moment that you started hearing Texas being involved with other running backs, to me, it became pretty clear that this was a soft let go, if you will. Texas will surely continue to recruit Reuben Owens, but I think a marker has been put down on the Louisville side, and it'll be interesting to see how deep the Longhorns will go moving forward out of that. It's complicated. It is full-on drama stuff at this point. Brandon in the super chat. I need like a bell or something that I'll ring when that happens. Says Cook will commit this weekend after Arch commits during the Manning Passing Academy. There's my 20 on it. Boom! Brandon with the $20 super chat and calling his shot. I'm with you on Jonte Cook. Announces today that he's going to take his official visit to Texas. I had been hearing that Jonte Cook was going to commit to Texas a week ago, and that was a month ago. It didn't happen, but I don't know how far away we are. For a little bit of context, Jonte Cook a week ago puts the not very long with an hourglass on Twitter, indicating that the official visit I think the decision is on his way. Now the Texas visit fast forwarded to this weekend. Yeah, I absolutely agree with the super chat and Brandon. I think it's only a matter of time with Jonte Cook. Longhorn Recruiting 4 in the super chat says, reaction to Ari Wasserman saying on the Paul Feinbaum show that Arch will take more official visits in the fall and won't commit until ESD, the early signing day. My early reaction to that is that that's so different than what's been indicated in the last week that I don't buy it. I could be wrong, and look, we can do another one of these shows tomorrow night, and I'll take my lumps if Ari Wasserman ends up being correct. And who knows? Maybe we'll start talking to sources, and those things will be conveyed. My reaction to that is, if it were true, to me that means that he was going to commit to Georgia, came to Texas, and that official visit blew his mind enough that he wants to wait. However, to take more official visits in the fall, is there a fourth school? Is there a fourth school that he wants to check out? I don't think his recruitment is played out that way. By the way, special shout out and thanks to my man Eric Torres for the contribution in the super chat. Thank you very much. I'll remind everybody again, since so many of you are just jumping in, if you just jumped in, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. That's all you got to do, man. That's all you got to do. I'm going to sit here and dance like a monkey for you. In the meantime, and sometime over the course of the next 20 minutes, you like the video, you subscribe to the channel. That's kind of the way this thing works. And if you want to immediately get your question or comment up on the screen, the super chat is where it's at. Otherwise, sometimes I've got stuff that I want to say. Sometimes I'll just immediately go to your question. Like right now, one of the comments that MSBBB966 says, isn't he tired of the recruiting process? Two things. A week ago, in a conversation leading up to his visit, one of our very best sources indicated that, yes, the Mannings as a whole were real quick. Hey, Philip, you want to apply to work for Orangebloods? Just shoot me an email, gkketch@gmail.com, or shoot me a direct message or something like that. There you go. I won't make you ask that question more than once. Yes, when we think about a week ago, the question was, isn't he tired of the recruiting process? One of our best sources said that going into the visit. It's what made me think, oh, wow, they've already made their decision. I mean, it may very well be Texas, but they've made their decision. Then on the visit, I was hearing from people who were telling me that Cooper Manning, Arch's father, had been pretty open about the fact that they wanted to end this thing, that the recruiting process was being a little bit of a pain in the ass. So for those two things to exist, and then it be Wednesday and there be a report that he's just going to keep taking more official visits and he's going to wait till the 15th of December. Wow. That, again, what that tells me is that in order for that to be true, in my mind, my gut instinct on this, he was mentally committed to Georgia, goes to Texas. That visit blows his mind so much that now they're spinning, like in Superman 2 when the bad guys get caught in those mirrors and they just fly off into the universe. Shout out to Superman 2 if you haven't seen it. That, for my money, is the best Superman movie. That would have to be where Arch and his family are today. For me, in order for this thing to go deep into the recruiting process, based on the things that we were just hearing a couple of days ago, to be getting the word out now that this thing's going to keep going on and there might even be more official visits. That doesn't smell that doesn't pass my smell test. No offense to anybody who's reporting that. That just that blows my mind a little bit. Someone's asking, Aaron R is asking, would Maalik transfer if Arch commits? Man, I don't think Maalik Murphy is tripping. I think Maalik Murphy thinks he's got better physical stuff than anybody on the Texas roster, and that includes Quinn Ewers. Now, I'm not telling you that Maalik Murphy has a better stuff than Quinn Ewers. I'm telling you, I think Maalik believes that. Now, and Maalik's got a head start. So, I think that the thing that Maalik Murphy has going for him right now is that if he ends up in a world where Arch just jumps in front of him, I mean, he will have no shortage of takers. And, I think that we're a ways away from him even having to worry about that. But make no mistake about it, Arch, there's a buzz that when players on the roster know. So would it unnerve Maalik Murphy to a certain extent? Maybe that stuff absolutely does happen. What do we got here? Wasn't the recruit guys that said Mannings didn't care about the 5 and 7 recruit cast guys? Man, yes. Look, that is what Cole and the source that Cole spoke with said. I don't believe that. No offense to my own guy, my own recruiting guy, and he can't control what his sources are saying. The man, of course, if they didn't care about the 5 and 7 record, I think they would already be committed to Texas. I think if Texas goes 9 and 3 last year, Arch Manning is committed to Texas in February, March, certainly by the end of June. So, I'm not quite buying the 5 and 7 record thing, because the thing is, if you say it out loud, it's quite damning. I mean, even if they felt the other way, you can't say that out loud. And I think that that's one of the things they're probably trying to protect a little bit and getting that out there. Brandon back in the super chat. Even if Arch commits, my money is on Maalik still. That dude has all the tools in the world. I think Maalik is the next up. Just my opinion. I think he meant next quarterback up. Go watch Maalik videos. He is raw, but he is super talented. Brandon, couldn't agree with you more. I love Maalik Murphy from a talent standpoint. I think Maalik Murphy from a skill standpoint, in some ways, is more impressive than Quinn Ewers. When I got into trouble when Quinn was still in high school, is that Quinn sometimes, for all of the arm talent that Quinn has, and it's a ton, you start nitpicking Quinn a couple of years ago on certain kind of throws that he doesn't do. Like, my issue was, too many quarterbacks in the head. If you watch Quinn throw the football in game action, I don't know that I watched him whip it down the seam just letting it loose and making a true pro throw, that's not a throw that he throws a ton. And I'm talking about that ball that goes to the back end of the intermediate area, and it's just on an absolute rope over the linebacker, down the seam, not some rainbow, just a whew. And Quinn Ewers has the arm talent to make that kind of a throw, and yet it's not the thing that I've seen him do a lot. And then I would say that, and then, then it would be about, look how far Quinn Ewers throws the football. He can throw the football at a camp 152 yards. And it's like, well, no, you're not saying that he can't throw the ball far. I'm not saying that he doesn't have a strong arm. I'm saying he doesn't throw that ball a ton. I bring all of that up because Maalik Murphy throws that ball. That ball. And that is the ball that Matt Stafford throws. That is the ball that the quarterbacks with arm talent that truly dominate in the NFL. That's the throw that they can make that most mere mortals can't. And I would love to see it from Quinn. When Quinn can do that, then I don't know that there's anything that Quinn can't do. We're literally talking about a guy, he's one of the top quarterback prospects in the history of high school football recruiting. What do we got here? Lance says because Catch DC started a catch on to Quinn, they would be cloud coverage. Also, a lot of teams played shell coverage against him. Yeah. Right. I get it. It was impossible for him to throw it. What I'm telling you is you will watch 16 games of his junior film highlight. Wasn't a whole lot in there. You want to tell me it's like the whole arm strength thing. Blah, but what, coulda, woulda. All that just sounds like excuses to me. I have no questions about his talent. That's not – when Arch struggles at times in high school with the deep ball in addition to that. Like the timing of it. And, there were times when – too many times in my estimation where receivers had to wait on a ball. Now, he's got a big old arm, but sometimes that happens. Look, Quinn Ewers, for me, is the reason why I didn't rank Quinn the way everybody else did. I've got slightly and they're baked in nuance and like nitpicking. It's like 100% nitpicking to pick these throws that you're not necessarily seeing in a highlight compilation and say, hey, well, where are those throws? It's nitpicking. It's kind of what I do. There's just some pieces of that that I'd like to see from Quinn. James in the super chat said, would y'all ever do a video with a fan and talk Texas football? If so, I'd be interested. I listen to all of y'all shows. James, there's all kinds of stuff that we're getting ready to do moving forward here on the Orangebloods channel. We're kind of exclusively, we're not exclusively, we're trying to get into as many live shows per week as possible. Certainly when we get into the season. We've already been talking about moving the modcast back a little bit later. I think it would be fun to do some fan-oriented shows. It is not outside of the realm of possibility. So if you're interested, shoot us an email, hit me up, DM, whatever method that you want to, and know that, that could be around the corner, especially as we get closer to the start of the season. Another super chat from Brandon says Maalik at the Elite 11 that Ewers was a part of. Maalik threw it 74 yards in the air on a rope. Ewers threw it 66 with a lob. Maalik has a cannon. Arch has a last name. That's what makes his stars. Now, Brandon, that's a big old bold comment. There's a lot in there. What I like about Brandon is that he gets a lot into his super chat stuff. Let's go back to the very beginning. Yeah, Maalik at that Elite 11 camp was probably, he was at least on par with Quinn Ewers in that camp. And I think that there were parts over the course of a week where Maalik Murphy had been more impressive. You can't be more impressive than Maalik Murphy throwing the football. You go back to a year ago, what that kid needed was real game reps and just a little bit more time. The advantage that so many of these other guys have on Maalik Murphy, just for me, are game reps. It is repetition, and them being high quality repetitions at that. It's one of the things about Quinn that you wonder about. He loses his senior season, but he gets to work out at Ohio State on the scout team. Are scout team reps more valuable than high school game reps? I don't think anybody's ever really had to ask that question before. I think we'll get Onwar to ask Sark that question. I'm fascinated by the concept of how the coaches would interpret such a thing, given that their starting quarterback will have been in that position, and maybe in the future it's something to think about. Again, Maalik does have a cannon. Arch with that last name is what makes his stars. Maybe. Jesse's asking me if if he's missed the Macho Man Randy Savage voice. Oh, no, you haven't. That's not very good. It's always better with, oh, yeah, Miss Elizabeth, bring me a sandwich. Let's see one real quick. Let me answer this one. Joseph M., in the event that you either are or not trying to start anything, no, you're never going to see that. No, sorry. Don't really have a whole lot else to say about that other than, maybe if my body was on fire and in order to survive so that I could take care of my kids, it had to be put out with that condition. I can never say never, hostage situations and stuff, but yeah, not what I'm trying to do. Just FYI. No cage match. I typically don't do things that bore me, I suppose, when it's all said and done. Jonte Cook, we did a little bit of that at the very beginning of the video. And James, I will get back to your super question here in a second. Actually, I'll let you cut in. Maalik will be Mac Jones for us, a one-year starter and off to the league. Then Arch will be right behind him as well and be a one-year starter, then NFL. Holy shit, James, that sounds like fun. This doesn't even have to be super chat. Just you've got Maalik going to the NFL in 1 year, and then you've got Arch going 1 year and then the NFL. You're going 2 years with Ewers going to the NFL as well, right? So by what I'm seeing from you, the next 4 years would include 3 seasons of quarterbacks who then go off to the league. Oh, man. Just confirm that for me. I just want to make sure that I'm reading exactly what you were saying. Brandon, back into the super chat, says Joseph. Last live Catch said Bobby ain't his people. Bobby also said he was going to crush Catch, and then he went to another source outlet. That's like his 5th place he's been to. I get a lot of that from people who compete against Orangebloods. A very wise man once said, never swing down. So, I'm not going to swing down. There's just not a lot of people for me to swing up to. Back to Jonte Cook. He sets his official visit for this weekend. I am anticipating that, and by the way, James, damn, dude. Hey, from your keyboard to God's ears, because I have covered a lot of crappy football for the last 12 seasons. If you're telling me for the next 4, we're getting Ewers, and then he's big dogging it out to the NFL, and then Maalik's like, I got a season in me, I'm going to go blow it up, and then he's gone to the NFL, and then Arch is like, let me take this thing over, and then he big dogs it out to the NFL. That is 22, 23, 24, 25. That is 4 seasons going into 2026 where the Longhorns have had quarterback play good enough for the quarterbacks to go to the NFL. Oh, man, I'll take some of that. I know some of you think, Catch, you're always negative. You're always hard on the horns. Like we're not talking about some 5-7 team from a year ago. I would love for the day. Blake just said it, my producer in the chat. That's Oklahoma under Lincoln Riley in a nutshell. Probably. That's a good way of putting it. Yes, that's how Oklahoma has done it during that stretch where they went Baker Mayfield and then they go to Kyler Murray. And then it was like, oh, what are we going to do? There's no Kyler Murray. And then Jalen Hurts just shows up. That's exactly what that is. It's like that's 2 years of Baker, a year of Kyler, and a year of Jalen. Man, I will take some of that. It's sold. American. Where do we go in the super chat? Brandon says, I've invested in Orangebloods a lot now. So how do I apply? Yeah, you have. You know what you need to do? You need to get the bat phone number, Brandon. That's what you need. You get my cell, and that's like Lonnie Anderson in Coming to America when he gets on fry cook duty or washing lettuce duty. I can't remember which was in front of which, but like in a year from now, you're like assistant manager, and that's when the big bucks start rolling in. I've been interrupted several times, and I'm not going to complain because I do love the super chat stuff. So don't pretend that I'm somehow slowing you down. And yeah, Eric, I do actually tend to agree with you more so than James that he does need to develop. This isn't Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen Private League School. That's funny, Eric. That's how you end up with gummies, man. You make Popeye's Kitchen Private School League comments. So sounds like the kind of private league school I want to be in, for the record, just so you know. If that exists, I need to be coaching in the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen Private School League. Damn, Louisiana has all the good stuff. Jonte Cook, I expect to commit. I expect that to come down fairly soon. I have not hid the fact that I've thought that his commitment a week ago was something that I had been hearing was in the works. Now that a week later, and you know what? This happens in recruiting all the time. It's like going somewhere with my wife. If my wife and I have to go somewhere when this show is over, I'm going to end up waiting for her. Like, we need to leave immediately. I technically need to be out of here at 7:30. I'm going to go till 7:35 because basically I love you people. So give me a like and subscribe to the channel. If I hear that somebody's going to commit on X day, just like with my wife and her getting ready, and like I need to add an hour. In this case with recruits, add a week. So if Jonte Cook has been rumored to be getting ready to come in as a commitment for the Longhorns going into the week leading into the Arch Manning visit, no, then it's the next week. It's the rumor plus 7. And it may end up being 10-ish. And no, Jesse, all my Liverpool cards did not get stolen. I'm working on a project, switching some things around. Just kind of went down that way. Brandon wanted to spend $5 in the super chat to say, I agree. I hate going places with your wife. Hey, man, doesn't matter what any of you could go someplace with my wife. You're going to be waiting on her, and she's on Heather Ketchum time, and she ain't on our time. And it's a good rule of thumb in recruiting. If you hear me say, well, you know, there's a rumor that some shit might go down on the 22nd of June, there needs to be a tax, a 7-day tax. If I say the 22nd, what you really should do is go, oh, okay, what am I doing on the 29th through the rest of the month? And probably that's what we're talking about with Cook. You know, over and under 7 days from now, whether or not I think Cook is – I think Jonte Cook commits to Texas coming out of that visit. Now, we may see a situation where he wants to wait a day because he wants to do like a big reveal. I mean, Jonte Cook's a big national prospect. By the way, I did think it was funny that he retweeted me the other day regarding the commitment of Reuben Owens. I was like, that ain't sticking. And Jonte Cook was like, what he said. I think that the over and under, though, from 7 days from today, I think would be the under. Joseph M. says, who's your favorite 24 prospect? We know Offerman is working to be your favorite 23 prospect tonight. Who is my favorite 24 prospect? God, I hate to. You're putting me on the spot a little bit because I haven't gone through all of the positions yet. That's my problem with 2024. I'm going position by position as I work to put my initial LSR top 100, which is, I hate to say it. I'm about 2 months behind. Don't judge me. Do not judge me because I'm a little bit behind. I guess it should come down. Colin Simmons is such an easy guy. He's so freaky. There's kind of a reason why he's the number one player. I also am really intrigued by DJ Lagway. And it doesn't sound like that's that his dad is the Lagway that went to Baylor. It's kind of blowing my mind. I need his dad to forgive me if this comes out wrong. But it feels like Lagway was at Baylor 5 years ago. So how in the hell he's got a quarterback already in high school and being recruited is mystifying to me. But here we are. I'm also really interested. Nigel Smith, the athlete / D end out of Melissa. He's interesting. The Cauley kid. You know me, man. I'm going to love all of the guys who are the difference makers of the difference makers. And I tend to love those guys. I think it is interesting that you look at the 2024 class that whereas it's taken Texas some time, they've got 2 commitments in 2024 in Aaron Hampton and Jaden Allen. And both of those guys are going to take visits. So you'd probably call them soft commitments, even though they say they're coming to Texas. It's so early. And both of those guys have indicated that they want to take visits. But I would take, you would make a case that you would take both of those guys over other than Ryan Niblett, you'd say anybody else in the Texas 2023 recruiting class. I think I think at that point it speaks to the weight of those guys if they're able to keep them. Paul says, you said Johntay is not on par with Stewart according to your avowals. Is that correct? Barely. I mean, if I had to rank them, I would rank Evan Stewart in front of Jonte Cook, but they are essentially rated the same. And, to be fair to Jonte, he has a senior season where he can do the thing that Evan Stewart did, which kind of become a consensus 5-star in the back end of into your senior season. When it's all said and done, Jonte Cook can be in that territory, and we may say it's a push. For now, I'm not going to lie to you. For now, I would have Evan Stewart ranked ahead of Jonte Taylor by those freaking slightest of margins. My overall thought process on both is that if they don't get hurt and they don't get arrested and they don't do some stuff with drugs, like if they stay away from the big 3 or like the Mount Rushmore of ways that guys get themselves in trouble, then they'll play in the NFL. They got to stay away from the Mount Rushmore of things that slip guys up. But if they can stay away from the Mount Rushmore, those guys are playing football. Zion says, hey, Catch, Texas 6A and 5A all-star team versus St. John B. Mater Day all-star team who wins. Oh, hell, man. I'm definitely taking the Texas 6A and 5A all-star team. I tell you what, just go get me an East Texas all-star team. I don't even care what classification. I don't need the entire state. I don't want the entire state. You just go get me a team full of badass East Texas dudes. And frankly, I'd probably say you could put together a Metroplex all-star team. Those schools aren't that good. Really, at that point, it comes down to who's playing quarterback for you. I got time for like one more question. And then, guys, I really do have to go, making sure that I haven't missed any of, you know what? I had some pinned questions that I wanted to ask, but I think I got to all of those. That was a super chat. Eric had the super chat. I gave him his love a little bit earlier, and he did make one of the funniest comments of all. All right, well, look, man. And Jackie says a Houston area all-star team. Yeah, exactly. It's funny. Where did I just see? We'll end with this. K-Dag, I think that's right. It's like if the kid from Westlake goes elsewhere, he's talking about Jaden Greathouse, who's the other big body wide receivers that they're looking at? That's the thing. Sark ain't really trying to get big body wide receivers. That was very much a Tom Herman thing. And it's really one of the reasons why Greathouse in Texas probably not going to happen. Steve Sarkisian wants dudes that fly. You know, Ryan Niblett being a mid 10-4 guy, that's not an accident. James says, like the video, y'all. Damn, Skippy. Like that video. I got to go somewhere with the wife. Hey, like the video. Subscribe to the channel. We got the modcast coming tomorrow. I'm not quite sure on the time. It might be 9:30 as usual. We might also do it at a different time. Anyway, it'll probably be 9:30 until further notice, but we are thinking about doing it. Thanks to Blake, to my producer. Thanks for all of you for hanging out. 220 plus-ish on the way out the door. Again, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, be good and take care of each other.